Even folks, welcome to the podcast, joined by Andrew Stats Dalton for a special edition of the podcast. Normally goes out on a Friday. It's gone out on it's Wednesday now, isn't it? We'll probably do another one on Friday anyway. For now, we wanted to do something around the EFL fixtures that came out today. There's a lot of news around the kits and stuff like that. So we wanted to have a conversation around that. So we said we'd do a pre-record that we put out as a live stream. I have been waffling and talking Andy's ear off for the last 25 minutes. So I said, we might as well just go with a live stream and just get it out immediately. So here we are. That's why it hasn't been advertised too much. So thanks everyone watching. As always, we're going to get into a couple of bits and pieces. We're going to talk some kits. We're going to talk Smiley badges, and we're going to talk about the fixtures as well. But first and foremost, I wanted to check in and say, how are you doing, Andrew Dalton? How are things, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's the kind of day that we all look forward to, isn't it? Pre-season is just around the corner. The fixture release date opened this morning at 9 o'clock. And it starts the build-up. I've not got too heavily involved in the Euros, to be really honest. I know everyone's different, and I know some of my friends have gone out there. But for me, it's always been club over country. I know everyone's a bit different, and I respect that. But for me, I'm starting the countdown of looking forward to, which will hopefully be a successful season for Leeds United on our 98th season as a football. I know we're over 100 years old, but of course we had the war years as well. So I'm hoping that this time next year we're looking ahead to Premier League fixtures. But yeah, a busy few weeks to come for the football club as well. Once I get back into pre-season training, and now the fixtures have come out, and you can start looking ahead to who's playing who and what have you. So yeah, very much looking forward to it, and bring it on, basically. Bring on the new season. It's only, a few weeks away. The friendlies will be coming thick and fast. And obviously, we start with a home game against newly promoted Portsmouth and John Mousinho's Portsmouth, who cantered to the League One title last season.
Yeah, is this the official start of the 24-25 season? Unofficial start, I should say.
Yeah, it's always interesting, because I've always asked this on socials before. When do you say last season is last season? And when do you say this season is this season? And for me, it's always like June the 30th is always the cut-off point, because that's when the contracts end and the new contracts begin on July the 1st. So I think what date are we on today? 27th, 28th of June. It'll then start kicking into gear and be ready for, I think they'll be back in training soon. And yeah, I know so some players won't be back. Some have played. Your lone players like your Max Verbers and Rasmus Christensen, there's still question marks over their future. Ellen Road coming 24-25 season. But yeah, sort of saying that has brought a bit of a smile to my face and gives me something to look forward to. And as I said, the Euros just not for me. Yes, I've watched it, but I thought England.
Well, Irish fan, mate, does not be interested in it at all.
I think England's performance over the last two games have been nothing short of diabolical. I know they're in the last 16, but who knows how far they'll get. But for me, it's all about the friendlies. Obviously, I've written the book about the friendlies as well. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to the next 6 weeks. And before you know it, August the 10th, 12:30, you'll be here before you know it.
It's an interesting piece that you mentioned about when do you start saying last season and when do you start saying this season, and when does next season become next season and not this season. When I'm doing my news videos and I'm getting the stories together throughout the morning and the night before and putting everything together, I tend to get all the bits and pieces, and then I tend to pretty much write down what I want to say. So those who see me glancing down from time to time, that's usually what I'm just fact checking.
Yes,
I've had to 3 or 4 times in the last couple of days had to scribble out next season and write I didn't even know whether to call it the new season or next. So I've referred to it as the new season will begin on, rather than saying next season or this season. I've avoided those 2 terms, but it's very much that when the fixtures come out, the next thing we're looking forward to is what's the kick going to look like? When are the players back in training? What's the preseason schedule? We know some of that detail already. And when are we and then we're good. Let's get the signings in. Let's get ready. Let's get going. So for me, the excitement around the new season kicks in today with the fixtures. We know exactly where we're going to be. We know where we're going to start the season, and we know where we're going to finish the season. And everything else in the middle is skies to destroy. So they can muddle around in there and figure out what they want to do. We'll be all right. They have promised us, this should be said, Sky have promised that they will announce any changes before the season kicks off. So that'll be done before the dates. It's about a month before they said that. So we will wait and see if that's the case. They've also said, as part of this new deal, that there will be a minimum of 20 games shown on TV per club and a maximum of 24 games per club, I believe it is. I'll double check that. Which is interesting considering Leeds are on TV 33 times last season.
Crazy, yeah.
And maximum Leeds will be shown. Do you believe that, Andrew?
I think we'll probably be shown every game if Sky had their way. to be honest with you, because look, there's no two ways about it. Leeds United are the biggest club in the Championship, and that's been shown by viewing figures last season and the amount of times, as you rightly say, that they were broadcast by Sky, and obviously I think the Chelsea game was on the BBC last season as well. So on the Plymouth Argyle FA Cup 4th on replay. So yeah, Leeds are a big club. Leeds are a big news story wherever they go, and it's a nice story. The first game of the season, Portsmouth promoted club, not been in the Championship since 2011-2012 season. And they've really been through the doldrums. They've gone further down than Leeds went. They were in the Premier League, 2009-10 Pompey, and then just crashed and burned and went all the way down to League Two. And I think had numerous managers, numerous ex-players. The likes of Andy Orford came in, Guy Whittingham came in, Michael Appleton came in, and it was only kind of when John Machino has taken over, former Oxford player, of course, they've got promoted as well, and that'll be the first time we play them since the 89-90 season at Ellen Road. The they're a great club, Portsmouth, and it saddened me what happened to them. They were the first Premier League side to be deducted points for going to administration, and I just remember going back to the 2009-10 season when Leeds won the League One. Portsmouth got relegated to the Championship. Portsmouth actually reached the FA Cup for under Avram Grant that year, and it's something we'll talk about obviously near the time when we start to preview the Portsmouth game, start of August. But it's a great fixture. I think it's a fixture for sort of the old school football fans out there. Portsmouth, even in the 80s under Jim Smith's stewardship and going into the top flight, the old Division 1, sort of 87, 88, and I think they only lasted one season, or I remember serves me right, and then got relegated, and then obviously had the Premier League era with Harry Redknapp as well, the early sort of 2003-4, 2004-5, then obviously he went off to Southampton, came back, and it all kind of went a little bit wrong when he finally left the Tottenham the second time. Tony Adams took charge. I think Paul Hart took charge as well. I had numerous managers, and it just went completely wrong. So for me, it's a great fixture. It's a great story, and I just hope that come 3 o'clock on the 10th of August, Leeds are smiling and offer 3 points on a hot sunny day in August, because I think it's imperative this year, Jay, to get off to a good start. Because if you look back to last season, we didn't win our first 3 games. I know there are extenuating circumstances. We know what the squad's going to look like. It's a lot more calmer on Ellen Road this time of year, and we'll be ready for it. And I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. I'm exactly the same mindset. I can't wait for this to go. Just a quicker from Dr. Cox. I have seen apparently a story that Joe Roland is favouring a move back to Ellen Road, but that's nothing new in that. He has said that for a while, but ultimately it'll be who agrees a deal with Tottenham first and foremost. And right now it looks like Southampton are kind of trying to buy the player outright. Yeah. But all of it is rumour until it happens, and we've always said that. So we'll have to wait and see what that. But I'll keep you updated, Dr. Cox, on that when we find out about it. Couple of bits to get into before we get into really brief, Andy, because I've asked a couple of people, but I want to get your take on it. Jack Harrison's gone back to Everton for another season-long loan. Not great for Leeds in terms of not getting a fee for him, but gets the wages off the books, and all intents and purposes seems to be a very positive move towards the PSR stuff. Mark Rock is expected to go any minute now. Been saying that for a week, but he's expected to go for about £5 million. And Diego Llorente could be in a tug of war between AS Roma and Betis, 2 skint broke clubs who won't be spending much money on him either way. So we're not going to make a huge amount in that bidding war. But your thoughts on those 3 players looking like to be out of Leeds on a permanent basis?
I think we knew, didn't we, at the start or the end of last season, that these players probably won't be returning to the parent clubs. They weren't here last year, and it's no surprise that they're obviously the one in play, certainly in Jack Harrison's case, Premier League football. Llorente and Rock was always going to stay at Betis. I think they want to play European football, and I think they didn't quite figure in Daniel Farke's plans. So it's sort of no surprise to me that they will be elsewhere next year. What will be interesting if Leeds do finally go up next season, what does happen to these players? Do they then come back after 2 years away, or do they let the contracts run down? It's a very different situation. But yeah, I think what Farke will be concentrating on is players that want to be here at the club at the start of August for that first game of the season against Portsmouth. So yeah, not too disappointed that they've gone. We handled them well last year. Without them, we finished with 90 points last year. Any other season would have won promotion. It was just a freak season, Leicester and Ipswich. So yeah, but I think all it does free up the wages for PSR to possibly look at bringing some players in ahead of the new campaign.
Yeah, 4 days to go until the PSR deadline, and no fire sale yet.
No,
so that's contrary to rumours, Leeds seem to be in a decent financial position. I think Joe Donoghue said this in the YP yesterday as well in the piece that if you look at everything that's on the table, no major big ticket items being sold so far, all small things being just tidied up around the edges and contracts and stuff like that. So that's all good news. And the closer it gets to that 30th of June deadline before, without any major sales, you would imagine means Leeds are in a positive position moving into next season, which means then the Red Bull investments done what it needed to do, and we're in a good spot. And we should start to see some significant transfer movement then as soon as the 1st of July comes around. I have a sneaky feeling you get an early announcement of a player coming in straight away. There could be a couple of frees in there, I think, as well. But it's going to have to be busy. It's going to be busy July. But as you said, Andy, a minute ago, for me, and I mean this in the best possible way, I like Daniel Farke and I've supported him last season, but he doesn't get the excuses he got last year at the start of the year. When we come out of the blocks in 10th, it has to be Leeds in the top 2 by the end of that month. Can't be anything else, or at least level on points in that grouping.
And I think on that point, he's always said it's a 2-year project, and this is the second year, and they have to go up this year. There's no sort of getting away from that fact that this time in May, we have to be in a Premier League, because you don't know what will happen for Farke if he's still in a job after 2 years. What the sort of financial side looks like with players coming and going for in the Championship for a 3rd season in a row. So I think it's imperative. I think we'll go up personally. I think we've had that 1 year to bed into the Championship, finished 3rd, very unlucky not to go up. But yeah, the pressure's on because foolproof season. The club's in a much better state than it was this time last year, and ready to rock and roll again start of August.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's interesting. I'm not bothered about the guys that have gone. I'm quite happy where we are. I think everything's very calm. It's very quiet. It's not great from a daily news content creator perspective, but outside of that, I'm very, very happy. I would sacrifice that content over Leeds being in a really good place any day of the week. So it's great news. But we have had some announcements this week outside of the fixtures, which we are going to get to in a minute. Very strong rumours about a yellow kit. If you watched the Square Ball this week, you'd have seen I apologize for getting his name, but the guy from Asset FC who did the design of the kits last season was on talking about the kits, and it is a shame that the Peacock kit didn't get a couple of wins, because it's by a mile my favorite kit that Leeds have produced in the last 20-30 years. It's a beautiful kit, and done a great job on all of the kits. But he was on talking about kit designs and badges and logos, and Smiley came up as well, and talking about it from a brand perspective, and from a way I hadn't thought about it. If you think about it as a badge, it's a very easy badge to draw for children to draw, and that gets them kind of into a lot. I remember growing up as a kid trying to draw a crest of the top division, and Arsenal's crest was always a nightmare because I had these tiny green chevrons in it somewhere, and it was a nightmare. And they've gone back to the canon, and from a branding perspective, it makes very good sense. But there's been a couple of other badges, and you'll see one if you're watching this up in the top left-hand corner, slightly to the left of the words there, you'll see the LUFC badge there with a circle surround on it with Leeds United Football Club on it. But it's great to see. My thoughts on this are, Andy, and I'd like to get your take on it, is I can see the Smiley badge potentially being the main badge on a yellow away kit.
Yes.
But I don't see it being the main badge on the white kit. I see it being back here at the back like the Peacock was last year, or integrated into the design of the shirt. What do you think?
I love the Smiley badge, and obviously before my time. But my favourite badge is the badge I had in 91-92 when they won the championship with the Yorkshire Rose in the middle. I think that's absolutely magnificent. But I think you're probably right that I think the Smiley badge will probably go on the away kit. And if it is a yellow kit, I think it's kind of not before time. The Leeds United, traditional colours, white home kit, yellow away kit, blue third kit, like it was sort of 91-92, and even under Grayson for a wee while as well, and we had those 3 kits. And I love a yellow away kit. My first ever kit that I bought was the YEP kit in 91-92. Obviously, it doesn't fit me because I was only 7 years old back then. But yeah, it made me fall in love with kits as well. So yeah, as you can see, my one there was the 90s one, sort of on the right-hand side. as you can see on the right hand side, second row.
This one up here, yeah. Sorry, that one, yeah.
Yeah, that was my favourite badge. But Smiley badge is certainly up there as well. So yeah, and I love retro stuff. I love going back through the archives and through the decades and what have you. So anything with a Smiley badge is 100% yes from me.
I did like the peacock. I gotta be honest.
Yes.
I did love this badge, and as was pointed out, I think as Michael Normanton pointed out, it was removed because of bad luck, and he said that's been nothing but good luck since it went away. We've had a fantastic time since it went. So
very true. We need what's face Rose, that the Gypsy Rose, to bring us good luck again next season.
Didn't Chelino have a priest come out and exercise the ground to try and lift that curse?
I think so, Chelino, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Someone Google priest in the middle of Elland Road, and I guarantee you will find a photograph of a priest standing in the centre circle in Elland Road. I'm pretty sure I have seen that image before, and I'm pretty sure it was during Massimo's.
A blessing at Elland Road, local priest helps United Fortunes, and then we beat Cardiff the same day.
But there you go. We just need a priest for every single game. That's all we need. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
Roman exorcism. Yeah. So I'm not against the Smiley badge. I think it's a pretty basic badge, but I do understand it from a perspective of a branding point of view. It's a fun badge as well, depending on which way they decide to turn the U, because there's different variations of it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll show you that again, because there are widely different variations of the Smiley badge. There's 2 listed on this, but I think there was 3, and there was arguments to a 4th one if you take the photographs of Leeds players in shirts with the badges upside down on it. If you look at it from those ones, there's a few of them out there where the badge is the wrong way around, which is funny. So if you take that into consideration, just probably more. We got these 2, but the U's are facing slightly different directions. And then you've got the one with the surround with the Leeds United AFC, which appears to be the one that they're going for. Leeds are very keen to get the words Leeds United back on the badge.
Yes.
And that seems to be the more logical one that they're going to go for, which is fine, I suppose. I always loved the LUFC on its own.
Yeah, they had that's centenary kit. I had it 95, 96 as well. So which was really nice. I love all the retro stuff. And just very quickly, there has been a goal in one of the 8 o'clock kickoffs. This that could affect who England play. And Georgia have taken the lead against Portugal after 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right then.
I don't know what that leaves England, but hey, yeah.
Best of luck in the next round.
Absolutely. Touche. Fixtures.
So yeah, we got a badge.
Yes.
We don't know where it's going to appear. As I said, the LUFC and the up here somewhere you can see is also been included, as well as the standard LUFC on its own. And the branding, we'll have a look at the fixture list now in a second. You'll see that. But the talk of a yellow kit, you like a yellow kit, Andy. I love a yellow kit.
Yes.
And again, it was said in the square ball, not to keep reciting everything the square ball said, but it was said on it. It is our time, Andy, as men of our age, and I know I'm older than you, but of our age, that when this yellow kit is released, as long as it's not a stonewashed yellow and blue monstrosity, it's a proper yellow kit.
Yes.
To get off our backsides and get out and buy it, to make sure that the club can say, well, actually, it did sell. It did sell, and you're long overdue a yellow kit. It's part of our identity. I think we should have it. Yellow kit, yellow with blue in it, or blue with yellow in it. But I think there should always be one of those kits included in the 3 that we have. But,
definitely.
I don't know. So you're looking forward to this, yeah? Nice yellow kit next season.
I am. I love a yellow kit. I'll say that's our colours. Like if you look back through the 70s, once Revia changed the kit in the 60s to be like Real Madrid or white, and we had the yellow away. Plus we've had an orange away kit, we had a red away kit down the years as well, a red third kit, should I say. So traditional colours, white, yellow, blue. Bring it on. Yeah,
I'm all for that. Right, in the last couple of minutes, we've got about 10, 15 minutes left. Let's get to the fixtures. And the first thoughts that popped into my head when I saw this, I'll try and zoom in a bit more so we can see that. There we go. Here we go.
Brilliant.
Also, sorry, just to point out real quick, if you haven't seen it, there's the LUFC Smiley badge sticking itself in the corner. That's the one they've gone for. But there is also the LUFC here as well. That is also there. But I think the fact that they haven't put that there in the middle beside the name suggests to me that the main shield will still be on the main shirt next season, the home kit next season. And this is likely to be part of it somewhere or in the away kit. But that's that part. But to get to the actual fixtures, then we open against Portsmouth. Stats. It's not a bad August. And it's not a bad April, May compared to last year, where the start of the season was uncertain, but the last month of the season looked really tricky.
Yes.
And the April and May lined up also at that time with December, which we knew we had a struggle in December last season. And then we also struggled the final month of the season with nearly identical fixtures. But a very different looking championship table, even just with the clubs that have gone out of it gone. What was your initial thought by looking at this, and what were you drawn to first?
Always, obviously, John, to the opening day of the season, as we've alluded to, John Machinio bringing his newly promoted Portsmouth side to Ellen Road. Leeds are unbeaten in the last 6 games at home to Portsmouth in the second tier. The last time they beat us was I think, 85. Obviously, they did win at Ellen Road in the Premier League in 2003-04. The first 2 away games are going to be a little bit tricky, I reckon. Obviously, West Brom made the playoffs last year under Carlos Corberán. And Danny Roll, I thought, had done a magnificent job against for Sheffield Wednesday, keeping them up. Because when he came to Hillsborough, they looked like they were doomed, and the job he done was absolutely brilliant. Hull City, I don't know about why they got rid of Liam Rosenior. I'll never know. Because I thought he did an absolutely wonderful job at the K-Com Stadium, because they almost just made the playoffs. They nearly helped Leeds obviously get promoted. They've got Tim Volter, who was come in. I don't know too much about
big,
him.
Andy. They spent big in January.
Yes, they did. That's also very fair. So I suppose if you look at it at that point, that they kind of possibly failed not to at least make the playoffs. They've gone in a different direction. So that's your first month. And then Burnley, again, no manager. Vincent Kompany's obviously gone off to Germany. So we don't know how they're going to look. And then we finished the first 2 months with an away game against Cardiff City, where he won convincingly last season, and a home game against Coventry City, who filtered away a little bit last season. So there's some winnable games in the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we finished the 10 games. Norwich away, we know that'll be tricky. Sunderland away, they've just got a new manager in Regis Labrie, who I know very little about. And then
linked very heavy with Leeds when we were in the Premier League the year we were going down. They looked at him.
Very much so. And then Sheffield United on October the 19th for the second Yorkshire. You don't have Hull in Yorkshire because they're kind of Humberside.
I made that mistake then today because I said, Hull and Sheffield Wednesday in the first month, 2 Yorkshire derbies. I should have said that.
Absolutely. So I think it's a reasonable fixture list. These games get the pulses racing for me. I think the first month will tell us where we are for me as a club this season. Because as we said, last season it took us to game 4 to get that first victory away at Ipswich, and the result at Portsmouth was brilliant, and lo and behold, that was the only time they lost at home all season in the league, which is incredible, apart from Maidstone United in the FA Cup, which is even more remarkable. So that first month, it can be quite tricky, and then you go into sort of the last few games of the season, sort of from Easter onwards. You go a trip to Kazan to face Oxford. I think Oxford, as I said, it's their first season at this level since 98-99 season, and the first time they'll be welcoming Leeds United to the Kazan Barra friendly in 2018 for a league game. So they might be fighting for their lives. And you've got 2 home games in the last sort of 2 weeks of the season: Stoke City at home and Bristol City at home before a trip to Home Park. Now, of course, as people have already mentioned, the last time Leeds United won promotion the time they won promotion in 1990, they finished on the South Coast against Bournemouth. So hopefully,
finish on the beach.
Yeah,
finish on the beach.
35 years on. I can't believe it's 35 years since 1990. That's really scary. That Leeds United will be celebrating promotion and done on the South Coast at Home Park against Plymouth, a ground we've got a very, very good record at. So, yeah, I know everyone's
nobody is coming home from that game that day.
Oh, that's it. They'll be hug over to high horse. And I think the other thing that sort of brought my attention was I was looking at Christmas fixtures. It's a bit grim over Christmas, isn't it? And this is no disrespect.
It usually is for us.
To any of those teams, but Stoke City away on Boxing Day. That is probably one of the coldest grounds I've ever been to on Boxing Day. Derby County away on the 29th. And New Year's Day against Blackburn Rovers at Ellen Road. Now, if it's anything like the game at Christmas 2018, when Leeds United came from 2-1 down in the 93rd minute to win 3-2, I think thanks to 2 late goals from Kemar Roof, we'll all be very happy. So, yeah, plenty to get your teeth into. The League Cup draws tomorrow 11:30. I'd love to play Wrexham, because we've never played Wrexham in a competitive game, as I'm sure Bryn probably would. So, it's... God,
all the celebrities would be at that game, wouldn't they?
Oh, and the rest. It's a fixture to look forward to. As I say, once the players get back and so all the admin gets going with the players, the kits, etc., it'll come round, and before you know it, the season's here, and we've got 1 month of July to go. We're nearly through the end of June now, I'm very much looking forward to. Now that you dissect the fixtures, it gives you an opportunity to think, let's do it, let's bring it on. And this time, as Angus Kinnear once said, we're not dicking around with the playoffs.
Also, from Warpig,
yes.
138 points. And if you know what that means, you know what that means.
Yes.
I'll give you a hint. We're going up as... You can figure out the rest of it.
You can figure out the rest.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
We're not dicking around with the playoffs this time, and I'm not doing the playoffs again.
No, I don't think there's any reason to this year, and that's where, and this is what I've said before. There's a whole new type of pressure on Daniel Farke from the fan base this year than there was last year. Yeah. You know, there's an established squad there. Although you might lose Cree, you might lose Willie, you might lose one other maybe at some point over July, August, depending on who's interested in them. But outside of that, you know the capabilities. I think he said himself, I've got a 4-week head start on last year. It's like, well, you don't. You've got a year and 4 weeks head start because you now know what this squad is like. You know the fringe players as well, like the likes of Greenwoods and Shackletons and all these players on the fringe last year. You know the capabilities of all of these players. So that's nothing that you need to find out. This summer's all about getting to play the way you want to play and getting the gaps filled that you didn't have last year and getting them going before the first day of the season. That's vitally important. They need to be in the mix throughout the whole year. They need to be in the top 2 for me pretty much from the start. Otherwise, a different type of pressure comes on Farke. For me, the tricky part is September, October is not an easy grouping of games after the first month. I mean, you've got some... Coventry won't be easy. They're not an easy side. They're a well-organised team if they replicate last year, and they did give us trouble, especially away. Burnley, again, we'll see what they are. Cardiff away is a weird game most seasons anyway. Then you've got Norwich, Sunderland, and Sunderland I think will be thereabouts towards the back end of the season as well.
Agree with that.
And Bristol City are a decent unit as well, and Watford will start the season relatively well and drift away like they usually do. But they'll have a new manager bounce probably from the second week of the season. So you know, you've got that. And then I think the last month is good. I like the look of the last month. I didn't like the look of what we came into last year, but you're going down through that. Luton will be decent, Middlesbrough will be decent, but then you should be beating... If you're trying to get promoted as champions, you should be beating Preston, you should be beating Oxford, you should be beating Stoke, you should be beating Bristol City, and you should be beating Plymouth. Like, you should be able to go on a run towards the back end of the season there and polish it off. And that'll be the hope. I saw it on Twitter today, so I won't claim credit for it, but it's the most championshipy looking championship.
I saw that. Yeah. I know what you mean by that. It just feels like this year we have got a wonderful opportunity to go win the league, and I think they'll have learnt from last season. I'm sure Farke would have learnt from last season, and I'm sure the players will have learnt from last season. And I'm absolutely certain, come that opening day of the season against Portsmouth, they'll be raring to go. Because as we both rightly say, for me, it's promotion or bust this season.
Yeah, agree. Do you agree with this statement I'm about to say to you? So it would be interesting to see how Plymouth do under Rooney. Do you think Rooney will be there when we go there at the last game of the season? I don't.
Well, I don't. And what's interesting, and someone made this comment, Danny Roll, who's been doing the Euros for ITV, has now gone back for pre-season with Sheffield Wednesday. Wayne Rooney's still in Germany, not gone back to Plymouth now. I don't know if that's pre-agreed or what have you. It probably is.
He has work to do though, doesn't he? Like he has to go back and assess a squad and get the paperwork done. Like Daniel Farke was coming into the job late last year, a week before the players were back.
That's right.
When it was late coming into that. I think he's already been at Thorpe Arch in the last couple of weeks. I've seen Middlesbrough back training since yesterday.
Yeah, so that back already. Yes.
So for me, having Rooney still been at the Euros, I mean, if nothing else, his head's not where it needs to be, which is getting stuck into what his team, unless he's got a really polished team of people behind the scenes that are doing that work for him.
We don't know. I think Plymouth, they punched above the weight a little bit last season. To stay in the championship was brilliant for them. I thought Neil Juicenick did a really good job at the end. But yeah, if I had to pick, and I know it's very difficult to pick at this stage of an off season, my teams to go up and my teams to go down, I would say Leeds to go up, Luton to go up, and I am going to say Middlesbrough to win the playoffs. Yeah. Again, this could all change between now and the end of the season. To go down, I think Oxford will go down. I think Plymouth will probably go down. And the last one, I've got no idea. It's so difficult to go to. Could be anybody. It could literally. Yeah. I think Portsmouth will surprise a few people. I think Preston, who knows with them. I think Bristol City and Stoke might be in trouble as well. So, yeah, it's all to look forward to. And just a final word, because we've not spoken since 2 terrible incidents happened. The sad passing of Kevin Campbell, from Everton, Arsenal, Leicester player, played in Turkey as well. Fantastic player from the early 1990s with Arsenal in the Premier League, and really sad he's passed away, just mid-50s as well, so that's really sad.
Yeah,
and Mateusz Sarkic, the Millwall goalkeeper, really, really sad, 26 years old, and of course we had his brother Oliver Sarkic on the books of Leeds United, so all our hearts go out to the families of both, and may both rest in peace. And yeah, really 100%. Sad the other week when that came through.
Yeah, it's never nice, especially two people that are at relatively young ages, both in your 20s and your 50s. Like, if you're a man in his 50s, you're not expecting to be winding down your life. You're expecting to have another 20, 30 years ahead of you. So it's really sad. And Kevin Campbell was a fantastic player. I was a child growing up in the 90s, but my interest in football, I quite liked Arsenal at that time.
Yes.
I was a very weird kid. I liked boring football. I liked structured, organized football, and Arsenal played structured, organized football. So I was into that as a kid. But yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of Kevin Campbell watching them playing, and any man and a young goalkeeper with Millwall to lose his life is a shocking thing to happen. So
and rivalries go way beyond.
Oh, to go out the window.
Like that.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to remember the people that are at the back of this, and not just a football shirt. So yeah, you're dead right. It's a tough one, and we'll have that, unfortunately, that sad moment when the first game of the season kicks off. We remember those who aren't with us this year, who were with us last year, and that's always a very sad moment. So it is, and we should remember that kind of stuff. And then as we go into a season that will hopefully have more positives than negatives from Leeds' perspective as well. Hopefully it's a promotion campaign. We've got a lot of exciting things to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. I am very excited for. I can't wait for the kits. I can't wait for the kits. Larry Nance Jr. was on the Or to Know Better podcast. Somebody did ask, am I supposed to know who Larry Nance Jr. is? So if you don't know who Larry Nance Jr. is, he's an NBA basketball player who turns out is a massive football fan and not American football. And as an investor in Leeds United, and he also did the podcast with the Or to Know Better podcast, who did a stand-up job, cracking job, lads.
Yes.
But he has seen the kits, and he said he is very happy and very excited about what's coming next season. So if these kind of people are excited, I'm excited. So I can't wait.
That'll do us.
It will, yeah. That's good for us. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. Andy, you've got your book out. Just real quick plug. We are going to do a giveaway on the channel over the next couple of weeks as well. We're going to give away a few of Andy's books as well. Somebody's already put in the chat they bought your book. I think it was Paul bought your book already online, is enjoying it. I'm going to find that tweet. Was it Paul Brennan? I think it was Paul. Who had bought the book. So people in the chat buying it. We're going to do a few giveaways as well. It's the time of the year to have a book. If you go on your holidays, you want to have a good book to read as well. Yeah. It's a book that's not out there. There's no variation of this book from a Leeds perspective. It's a very different book. And that gives a quick synopsis on what your book's about.
It's about the friendlies of Leeds United, the forgotten games of Leeds United. I just thought it was something a bit niche that's never been done before, and it took an awful lot of research to do it and look at lineups, and there is one or two gaps that are missing because it's just not possible to find them. But from the likes of Shelbourne, the amount of times have played them, Cork City, and all the other teams, the West Riding Cup, the Yorkshire Humberside Cup, there's over 650 games featured in there with lineups, and it just brings back a lot of memories for a lot of people. So yeah, really proud of it. With Macca as well. Mark Ledyard was my co-writer. So yeah, really, really happy with it, and hopefully people will buy it, all being well.
Well, we'll keep plugging it. I'll keep mentioning to people on the channel as well. And we'll be giving a couple of copies of it away before the start of the season as well. So keep an eye out for that. We do a couple of giveaways every year at this stage. So we'll do some of them. And that's going to be it for me. Stats, massive thanks as always. We're back into real football season. So we're going to continue to do our match previews going forward in the next season. We've got a couple of ideas around some new content pre-match that we're talking about doing. So keep an eye out for that as well. I won't say anything until we've actually got it properly formalized. But we're working on some new things as well. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with the news, and we'll probably have something Friday evening as well to keep an eye out for. So massive thanks, as always, for everyone who supports the channel. Check out today's news if you want to get some more detail, and I'll see you in the morning. Andy, thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye, folks.